Hello, Aries. Welcome to your story for the week. Keep in mind that this story may be more relevant to your past or future. Take what resonates and leave the rest. It's merely meant to make you think and give you insight. So, lovely. Our story is taking place with Ursa Major, the great bear, who comes to us in springtime. Ursa Major. All right. So, there once was a bear emerging from her cave where she had hibernated all winter. She was hungry, she was disoriented, and the light, she couldn't bear it. Everything itched, her fur was matted, and her rest hadn't been so great because during the winter, someone got into her cave, another critter, a little weasel. And it made her feel like she had to get out of her routine. She stayed the whole winter in there, feeling uneasy about what had happened to her, the fact that her domain had been violated in such a way that some sneaky little creature could just come in the middle of winter while she was trying to rest and take it easy and just disturb her sense of peace. So as she emerged from her den and she looked outwards, she thought, I can't stay here anymore. I have to move on. But where will I go and what will I do? And the first creature she found was a sly lone wolf who told her about a nice area within walking distance that had everything she required, and all she had to do was just follow this wolf to get there. And she said, I need a moment to think about it. And the wolf looked at her like, why? Why do you need to think? I mean, you're so much bigger than me. And the bear had a feeling that she couldn't just, even though she wanted to move forward and move outward, she couldn't just follow anyone that just popped along her way. She needed a moment to really consider who this wolf was and what this wolf was about. So she said, I may go with you, but I would like to talk to you first. Tell me, wolf, what is this place like? What is this grand land that you speak of that's just around the river bend? Well, the wolf had quite a few things to say to her about this place. Here we go. Oh, it is a sacred land, said the wolf. It is a sacred land where all are good and none are bad. You don't have to worry about weasels getting into your den. That doesn't happen there. Everyone has outstanding morals and would never go into someone's den in this land. She pondered this. That sounds really attractive. The wolf then looked at her and said, what are you waiting for? Let's go. Come on. You know, time is ticking. Why don't you want to move on? I mean, your den was violated here. bear did feel a need to move, but she felt pressured. She hadn't eaten yet. She thought, I really need to eat something before I go on a big journey like this. I really need to eat something before I move to a whole other land. I'm a bear. I'm a big creature. I may be bigger than you, but I need to build my strength. Even bears have our limits. We got 2 here. So the bear walked down to her usual stream to get a sip of water and to look to see if there were any little things about that she might munch on, or any fish in the waters, or maybe even, I don't know, some snacks left over from some humans, because they always left really tasty things when they camped in that area. But alas, her foot got stuck in the mud right there, and she pulled, and the more she pulled, the more she seemed to sink, and the more her other paws seemed to sink. And then, all of a sudden, she was ambushed. Coming up behind her, a whole pack of wolves. A whole pack behind her. Even though she hadn't gone to this land, these wolves all were circling around her. And she cried out, "What do you want from me? I'm a bear. I'm not your usual meal." The wolves felt very excited because this bear, if they could take her down, would have been an excellent snack. Would have fed them and had them satiated for days. Even though she'd been starving, she was a bigger meal than they'd seen this entire winter. Suddenly, a loud sound crashed through the woods. I mean, massive. And you know what it was? It was a tree falling. And this startled the alpha of the pack. And the alpha stepped back in just horror at the sound. And this really just set the entire pack into a frenzy. And they bolted because their leader showed fear. And then the fear itself got the bear moving as well. And she slowly pulled her initial paw out of the muck and thought to herself, there's danger everywhere. I need to move, but where can I go? And then she remembered about something she'd always wanted to do. She had always wanted to go into the hills and pick berries and to become fat on blueberries that grew in the hillside. And she had heard many tales from bears who had been there before of how wonderful these lands were in the hills and how delicious the berries and little creatures that lived there were, and how oftentimes there were rivers nearby where fish would school. And she realized she didn't need help to get to this other land. She could see in the distance that there were hills. She merely needed to follow her own vision and her own senses. So she left. Onward she traveled, onwards and upwards, leaving behind all that she had known. And when she got to the hills, she fell in love and was rewarded with not only a mate and cubs, but a land richer than one she had ever known, where the food was abundant, where berries and fish and small critters were everywhere for her to see and to enjoy, where her cubs could grow up big and strong, and where she could connect, and where she could also be at peace.